Hi, my name is Jason Janik. This is a video presentation for mobile forensics taught by Dr. Kaleem, and this particular video presentation is about Nandroid Backup. Nandroid Backup is a backup feature that's used to make an exact copy of the contents of an Android device. Nandroid can be found on certain custom recoveries like Clockwork Mod Recovery or TWRP. Those are probably the two biggest, most well-known and most widely used custom recoveries. And what we can do is we can use the Nandroid Backup to make an identical copy of our disk, an identical copy of the contents of our device. So basically a logical copy. And what I'll be doing today is showing you how we can basically do that in order to get an image so that we can use the image to perform forensics. In this case, we are not going to be using anything fancy. We have no special programs. Of course, Android is Linux based, so one of the things we'll be using is our laptop with Windows 7 and the command prompt. And we'll be getting into ADB, Android Debug Bridge, which allows us to communicate with the Android device from our Windows laptop. And we'll be using ADB shell, which allows us to have a shell for that, to be able to look inside, to be able to see the directory structures, things like that, of the Android device. And we'll also be using our device. In my case, it's a Samsung Galaxy S3 with it's rooted, and with CyanogenMod 10.1, which is a Jelly Bean variant. And so let's get into it. Okay, so for this example, I'm going to use my Galaxy S3, and it is rooted, and it's running CyanogenMod 10.1, which is a variant of, actually it's a variant of CyanogenMod 10.1, which is based on Android 4.2, which is Jelly Bean, as you may or may not know. And one of the first things we need to do is we need to go into Settings, and down to developer options. Your developer options may or may not be on. If they're not visible, you come down to About Phone and scroll down to build number, and you click on it 7 times. And I don't think it, yeah, okay. Well, here you see it says no need, you've already enabled development settings. But if it weren't enabled, you would press on it 7 times, and it'll give you a countdown after about 3 or 4 taps. So you tap it 7 times and your developer options shows up. And in developer options, we go to Android debugging. We make sure our Android debugging is checked, because that will allow us to use ADB, the Android Debug Bridge. And for this, I'm going to now go into recovery, because ADB is sort of hit or miss right now with me on the regular just in regular mode. So I'm going to go into recovery, and as you can see, I have a nice power menu button for recovery, and we'll reboot now. So now, as you can see, it'll show up in the corner, recovery booting, and I have Clockwork Recovery, actually Clockwork Mod Recovery. In this case, we're using version 6.0.3.0, and this is a custom recovery. You can install it on a rooted phone. And I am going to go to Backup and Restore, and I'm going to create an image zip. Lots of options. These have been slowly expanding over the different releases, but I'm going to create image zip. And as you can see down here, it's backing up boot image, and then backs up recovery image, and now it's backing up the system. You can see all the APKs flash across the screen as they get backed up. APKs, of course, are the files that essentially install programs onto your system. And as you can see, it's backing up everything. And this is a Nandroid Backup. Nandroid being a sort of a flavor of backup. And in this case, an Android backup makes a perfect one-to-one backup of a system, or a user's system. So in this case, you can see it's backing up data. This should back up everything that's on there. I had just actually recently switched ROMs, and after I did what I did on one ROM, I went back to this ROM and installed it, and it picked up exactly where it left off. It even picked up a song. I shut off the song in the middle of the song, and it picked up right where that song left off. So anyhow, it'll just be a couple moments, but it should be finished soon. Alright, backing up cache, which is not particularly important because we'd wipe it out anyways before moving on, and it's generating an MD5 sum just to ensure that our files are valid, and of course it's going to make a zip of the image file, so hopefully that won't take too long. So, and as you may know, Android is based on Linux, so everything we're going to do is now either Linux based or Windows based for Linux. Just a matter of making Linux run in Windows. But so hopefully this zip gets backed up. We couldn't do this in iPhone. I guess we could theoretically do it in iPhone, but it's a heck of a lot easier in Android. So alright, while this does this, I'm actually going to open up a Windows Explorer window, as well as a command prompt. Okay, that will help. Except, of course, there it is. And right now I'm actually going to go over into the D drive and into the file where I am holding all of my SDK, my Android SDK, which should be in this. Yep, there it is. Alright, and the ADT tool, the executable, is in Platform Tools, and I'm going to be lazy and not change my path, so I'll just go ahead and say platform-tools, and I'm in that directory, and of course I need to make it so it goes into the directory. Sorry about that. Platform Tools, and if we take a look at the file the directory contents, we see adb.exe. So as you can see, our zip can be found at SD card clockwork mod image zip, and now I'm going to go back, and I'm going to go ahead and connect it via my USB. And a USB, all right. And I'm going to plug it in. And it should be recognized. I'm going to set this aside because there's nothing going on it. And now this is all taking place on my laptop. So now if I run adb, oops, not caps, adb shell, I don't think it's recognized yet. Yeah, you can see, starting it now, daemon not, oh, it is, okay, good. So it actually has connected successfully to the ADB shell. I've got, what I'm going to do now is, I'm going to take a look at the actual structure of my Android. And as you can see, I ran the ls command. Now we're in Linux. And you can see here all the different directories and a couple files. And I want to go into the data directory. I believe, let's see what's in the data directory. And I believe media. Let's see, media is where I'm holding it. So cd, oops, I have to type everything out. Yes, I know. CD media. And if we take a look at that, we can see Clockwork Mod, which is where it's being stored. So let's go to Clockwork Mod. Take a look, and and there's my image zip. So we know where it is. We know the path, data media Clockwork. It's Clockwork Mod. So let's exit out of here because we can't actually directly pull it from here. We actually have to use the command adv pull. And now we're going to put the path, which was data, media, Clockwork Mod, / image.zip. That's my zipped image file. And I want to put it, I'll just put it on the D drive for now. And, oh yes, I'm sorry. I can't do that. Actually, I have to put D/, okay. D:/. And now, so this shouldn't happen instantaneously. This should take a tiny bit of time. But you can see actually there's the image right there. But as of right now, it's exactly 0 meg. So give it a minute or two and it will pop up. So it's working its magic. Alright, let's see. Still, it's going. I'm not going to rush it, because it will happen. Ah, there we go. And as you can see, it popped up. It's, how big is it? 231 meg, so. Alright, so now let's exit out of here. Alright, and let's open image. And of course we're going to get WinRAR, which is the default on here. And yes, nobody's ever bought this, but and as you can see, we have our boot image. We've got our system ext4. We got a tar file, which we could open if we wanted to. And if we go in here, we can go down to update binary also. So let's just, actually I can't look in there right now because it's not, there's nothing in there. But if we actually, this is where all the information is stored, in the tar.a. We just rename it to tar, and we can also open that in WinRAR. So that is that, and I do want to show you, actually let me do this one thing real quick. I'm going to reboot system now in Clockwork Mod, and show you a little bit of strangeness, but I can unplug it. It's not particularly important at the moment. I'm going to let it reboot. So now I'm just going to close this out. So now we have our image file that we can do with whatever we like. And slowly but surely this will come up. Alright, and I'm just going to go into the default file manager here. And I'm going to take a look. We have root access, so it starts in the root. And let's just see what we've got here. Let me go to, where was I going? Storage, and we'll go to emulated, which is the SD card it's an emulated SD card that's found on the actual phone itself, separate from the actual SD card, the physical SD card. So we'll go here, we'll go to Clockwork Mod, and as you can see, we actually don't have the same exact thing. The image is hidden, so you can only access the image via recovery or through the ADB shell. So that's just a bit of weirdness. So, all right, that will do it, and I guess I'll talk a little bit more and conclude. Thank you. Okay, so we just made an image of our Android device, And as you may or may not have seen, this actually entailed making backups of several things: the boot image, recovery image, the data, the system, and the cache, which isn't, I mean, it may actually be fairly useful. We could have made a copy also. We could have included our external SD card, but in this case, since I wasn't really doing anything with it, there was no reason to, because all it does is take up space. Because I have the actual SD card, if I wanted it, I could pop the back off and, eject the SD card, and I could run whatever forensics I would have liked on it. But you do actually have that option, so it is available. So anyhow, that should about wrap up our video presentation, and I hope you learned something new today. Thanks.